Part 48. After the Flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dowby in the World. Chapter 471. Chapter 471 Life Hangs by a Thread 1. Wang Tianyu saw her move from the corner of his eye, raised his eyebrows slightly, and immediately grabbed her right hand. The special anti-wolf spray in her hand fell to the ground and rolled out. "You still want to attack me? Do you think I will be fooled a second time?" Wang Tiankai sneered, squeezing her hand harder. "You can." A sly smile appeared in Jian Yuman's eyes. Her left hand appeared on his waist unconsciously, and there was something in her left hand. She pressed the button and electrocuted him without hesitation. Since she was almost raped by Wang Tianyu last time, she has a small stun stick with the power to stun a cow. The store owner has repeatedly assured that this thing cannot be used easily because the power is too awesome. She deliberately made the movement of taking the anti-wolf spray larger with her right hand so that he could see it, but did not notice that she was holding the larger thing in her left hand. The electric shock baton in Jian Yuman's hand spread rapidly through his body. She spared no effort to let him know that she would not be caught by him again and would not be prepared. After making sure that he could no longer hurt her, Jian Yuman stopped. The moment she let go, Wang Tianyu fainted and fell to the ground, his eyes rolled back and he fell unconscious. Jian Yuman is quite satisfied with the electric shock stick she bought. She did something bad to her just now. Now she knows what the outcome will be. Jian Yuman looked at Wang Tianyu again and found that his eyes were still rolled, his body was twitching, and his face was gradually turning pale. God bless, Jian Yuman lowered her head and pushed him gently. Her tentacles were shocked by the residual electricity, and she immediately stopped her hand. "Oh my God! Is this electric shock stick that strong?" She didn't hold back at all just now. "Tianyu, wake up quickly!" Jian Yuman shouted in panic. Her face became ugly. No matter how ugly she was, it was not as ugly as Wang Tianyu's face. Immediately afterwards, Jian Yuman saw that the wounds on his body that had not healed before began to bleed, and he looked very scary. "No way! You won't die like this! Don't scare me!" Jian Yuman screamed, stretched out her hand and pushed him gently, but there was still no response. "It's a big deal." Hearing the commotion downstairs, Chi Lili ran down quickly and saw her sister's face was pale and she kept shouting at the people on the ground. "Sister, what's wrong?" Chi Lili ran in quickly and saw Wang Tianyu who was fainted on the ground and rolled his eyes. "What happened?" Jian Yuman raised her pale face and just opened her hands to check, and found that Wang Tianyu had no heartbeat. "Sister, he was cheating on me just now, so I shocked him with the newly bought anti-wolf electric shock stick. I didn't expect it to turn out like this. He couldn't breathe. I killed someone. Jian Yuman's hands were shaking violently, and his face was as pale as snow. Chi Lili quickly checked Wang Tianyu's condition, immediately reached out to perform cardiopulmonary resuscitation on him, and pressed his chest hard. "Call an ambulance quickly," Chi Lili shouted to the frightened Jian Yuman while giving first aid. Okay. Jian Yuman's hands were shaking, including the hand holding the phone. At this moment, a man walked in from the door, followed by several people. Tang Yuj, who ran over after hearing Jian Yuman's rashness, dropped the meeting and ran over immediately. As soon as Tang Yuj walked in, he heard the movement from Jian Yuman's side. He walked over quickly, only to see Wang Tianyu's face was ashen and there was no sign of life. The color of his blood instantly flowed back, and he walked over quickly, not to disturb Chi Lili's rescue. "A beloved concubine complained that your majesty often did not update well in the early morning, so in the future, the update will be changed to 2 times, 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. If the update is not completed at 7 p.m., it will be updated at 5 p.m. in the future. The number of words in the update will be 6, more what comes out is being updated. Notice hereby. The title of the book will be changed tomorrow, husband, close the door quickly. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 472. Chapter 472 Life hangs by a thread too. Wang Tianyu's face was livid and there was no sign of life. The color of his blood instantly flowed back. He walked over quickly without disturbing Qi Lili's rescue. Hey, help! Qian Yuman's hands were shaking. Finally, she got through the call. Her voice was trembling and she couldn't speak clearly. Tang Yuj roughly took the phone away from Qian Yuman and quickly explained the situation to the people at the hospital. The people behind Tang Yuj immediately went to get the first aid tools available in the car and rescued as much as possible before the ambulance arrived. Qi Lili pressed the button several times, but there was still no sign of breathing. Qian Yuman's face turned even more ugly, and her heart was hanging in the air, neither up nor down, which was particularly uncomfortable. After a while of busy work, Tang Yuj discovered that there was an emergency electric shock device in Tang Yuj's car, and several people were busy giving first aid to Wang Tianyu. Tang Yuj quickly untied Wang Tianyu's clothes and looked solemn when he saw the wounds on his body. The first blow electric current exchanged on the instrument and struck Wang Tianyu the chest. The second time again. Qian Yuman and Qi Lili watched nervously, watching Tang Yuj and the others doing first aid. Please, God, please don't die. Although you have done very abominable things to me, I don't want you to die. If you die, how will I explain to Mr. Tang? Woo woo woo. Qian Yuman kept praying in her heart. Although she hated him now, his crime was not worthy of death, and he would not succeed. Moreover, he might have a reason for revenge. Before she had time to ask, what happened between him and Tang 11 years ago? What unhappy things happened to Mr. No matter what, she hoped that he would be well and nothing would happen to him. As long as he is alive, she can slowly seek justice. If he dies, who will she seek it from, and she will still be charged with manslaughter. There's a heartbeat, one of the bodyguards shouted in surprise, and Tang Yuj and Qi Lili felt relieved instantly. Looking at Wang Tianyu carefully, you can see that his chest is moving slowly and the breath is slowly coming out of his nose and mouth. The ambulance came in time and picked up Wang Tianyu not long after. Before picking him up, his wounds were rebandaged. After the series of rescues just now, Jia and Qian Yuman were entangled, and the wounds on his body were bleeding, and he looked very embarrassed. After a period of busy work and timely rescue, Wang Tianyu was officially out of danger. Qian Yuman finally let go. It was really scary. If Lili hadn't performed emergency cardiac resuscitation at that time, or if Tang Yuj hadn't been worried about her coming, Wang Tianyu would have died. Fortunately, there was no danger in the end. After analysis by the doctor, the electric shock rod in Qian Yuman's hand was slightly more powerful than normal. If it were used on Wang Tianyu, who was in good health, there would be no fatal injury. However, the wounds on Wang Tianyu's body were not scabbed, and the lost blood it hasn't been replenished yet. When the body is weak, it cannot withstand the electric shock. Outside the ward, Wang Tianyu, who was out of danger, was still awake. Qian Yuman blamed herself after listening to the doctor's criticism. With tears in her eyes, she looked at Tang Yuj guiltily. Mr. Tang, I'm sorry. I didn't consider the consequences and almost killed Tianyu. Tang Yuj's face was ugly, and his eyes looking at Qian Yuman were a little cold, and he turned his head stiffly to look at Wang Tianyu. You went too far this time and almost killed Tianyu. Is there anything you can't talk about properly? A beloved concubine complained that your majesty often did not update well in the early morning, so in the future, the update will be changed to 2 times, 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. If the update is not completed at 7 p.m., it will be updated at 5 p.m. in the future. The number of words in the update will be 6, more what comes out is being updated. Notice hereby. The title of the book will be changed tomorrow. Husband, close the door quickly. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 473. Chapter 473 Life Hangs by a Thread 3. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to do it. I forgot that he bled too much last time and was still very weak. Seeing that he appeared in front of her healthy and alive this time, she thought that the last injury was nothing to him. As soon as Tang Yuj heard this, he immediately turned to look at Jian Yuman with an angry look on his face. Do you know he was injured last time? You also shocked him with a stun baton. Jian Yuman shuddered and looked like she was about to cry, so she admitted obediently. I know, Mr. Tang, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me, please, and don't be angry. She has really passed this time, and she will admit her mistakes. Jian Yuman couldn't explain the reason at this moment. At this moment, she didn't tell him that she was almost kidnapped. The injuries on his body were because he was beaten by Xian Yingzhi because he almost raped her. I was afraid that if I told him, he would be difficult to behave. Seeing how nervous Wang Tianyu was, I knew how much I should cherish this younger brother. Tang Yuj took a deep breath. I'm not angry with you. You should go back and rest first. As a pregnant woman, don't stay in the hospital for too long. But go back. Tang Yuj's voice was still cold. Oh, Jian Yuman nodded, turned around and left obediently. Her mood was up and down all day today, and she was so frightened that when she got home, she fell directly on the bed and fell asleep. In her sleep, she was even frightened to tears by the dream that almost killed Wang Tianyu. She was really frightened this time. Tang Yuj didn't come back all night. He was waiting in the hospital for Wang Tianyu to wake up. By the time Wang Tianyu woke up, it was already late at night. He slowly opened his eyes and looked around, and found a person with his head lying on the bed. Even though he didn't see the face, he could still recognize who this person was at a glance. Wang Tianyu's expression immediately turned livid. He wanted to stand up, but the wounds on his body hurt. He looked at his surroundings and immediately analyzed where he was. That woman actually stunned him with a wolf-proof electric shock baton. Sure enough, he has become very capable. Hearing Wang Tianyu take a breath, Tang Yuj, who was lying beside the hospital bed, raised his head and looked at Wang Tianyu. Tianyu, are you awake? Are you okay? Tang Yuj supported Wang Tianyu's body, which was about to fall down, and looked him up and down with concern. I'm fine. Wang Tianyu cruelly withdrew his hand. You don't need to be pretentious. Tang Yuj's eyes darkened slightly. Don't you know if I'm being hypocritical? Who are you? Wang Tianyu yelled at Tang Yuj. He yelled so hard that his body went limp and he fell down on the bed, his face turning pale. I don't want to stay in the hospital. I'm going to be discharged from here soon. God bless you, your health is not good yet and you need to be hospitalized for observation, Tang Yuj said in a good voice. Wang Tianyu turned his head and roared at Tang Yuj. I don't need it. I hate the smell of the hospital. If you want me to stay in the hospital, it's better for me to die immediately. Wang Tianyu roared very loudly, so loudly that the place where he finally stopped bleeding started to bleed again. Okay, I'll leave the hospital immediately, but you must go back with me to recuperate, and you're not allowed to run around anymore. Tang Yuj took a step back. No, I don't want to go back with you. Why should I go back with you? Wang Tianyu refused with a sneer, which seemed ridiculous to him. You are my brother, Tang Yuj said sonorously and forcefully, not wanting to argue with him anymore. Now that he was a patient, he couldn't help but agree or disagree. A beloved concubine complained that your majesty often did not update well in the early morning, so in the future, the update will be changed to 2 times, 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. If the update is not completed at 7 p.m., it will be updated at 5 p.m. in the future. The number of words in the update will be 6, more what comes out is being updated. Notice hereby. The title of the book will be changed tomorrow. Husband, close the door quickly. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 474. Chapter 474 Eating a Man's Dick. Chapter 474, Being Jealous of Men. You are my brother, Tanyuj said sonorously and forcefully. Tanyuj, I am not your brother. I stopped being your brother 11 years ago. You are not worthy of being my brother. Tanyuj, don't even think about me going back with you. Tanyuj, get away from me and let me go to your place. Be careful that I steal your wife and take it for myself. Tanyuj. Tanyuj walked out of the ward quickly. Wang Tianyu's roars kept coming to his ears, but he turned a deaf ear. He walked out of the ward to go through the discharge procedures and took Wang Tianyu to the castle. Wang Tianyu now finds it difficult to get out of bed and walk, let alone facing a group of bodyguards from Tanyuj, who can move him back to the castle with a little effort. There is a professional operating room in the castle and an authoritative doctor is hired to take care of the sick Wang Tianyu. The rooms in the castle have a good environment, which is conducive to patients' recovery. They are much more comfortable than hospitals that smell of disinfectant. By the time Wang Tianyu was invited home, it was already morning. When he arrived at the castle, he was still making noises about leaving. By the time he calmed down, it was already dawn. Looking at the bright sky, Tanyuj did not go directly to his and Qian Yuman's room to rest, but went to the guest room. If he went back now, he would disturb her rest. When Qian Yuman woke up in the room, there was no familiar figure beside her, and she suddenly felt very uncomfortable. Did he not come back all night? Qian Yuman said melancholy. It was only a short time ago that she was not used to the feeling of waking up alone in bed. When did she become so dependent on him? His kindness to her and his doting on her almost made her unaccustomed to living alone, and it suddenly changed her 21-year-old habits in a short period of time. Thinking about the look he gave her yesterday, her mood dropped for a few seconds. She didn't mean to be ignorant. She was scared of being bullied last time. She didn't know if Mr. Tang would scold her in return if she told Mr. Tang about being bullied last time. Either scold her for not saying it last time and wait until something happens. Or you are afraid that he will not believe it and think that you are quibbling and looking for excuses for your wrongdoings. It is better to wait until Wang Tianyu recovers from his illness before filing a complaint and drive him out immediately. Now that he is injured, Mr. Tang cannot ignore him. Ah! So irritable. I hate managing such complicated interpersonal relationships. It would be nice to live simply. Thinking of how Mr. Tang looked at her for Wang Tianyu yesterday, she felt sour in her heart and became deeply jealous. She is actually jealous with a man, so annoying. She had to be wary of women, and now she also had to be wary of men. Mr. Tang still says he doesn't love her. Will he abandon her one day? She had to take action. She couldn't wait passively for him to fall in love with her. It would take years and months. You must take the initiative to seduce Mr. Tang and capture his heart. The most important thing now is to show off your mistake and prevent Mr. Tang from getting angry again. The complaints will be piled up in the future, and evidence can be used to scorn Wang Tianyu. Then we will see if Wang Tianyu still has the possibility of quibbles. Qian Yuman went out to prepare breakfast. When the servant said that Tanyuj was sleeping in the guest room, her mood suddenly dropped. He couldn't be so angry that he didn't even want to have with her. Snort. It's useless. Even if you are angry, I will stick to you for the rest of my life. Qian Yuman almost rolled her eyes when she learned that Wang Tianyu was also brought back. A beloved concubine complained that His Majesty often did not update well in the early morning, so in the future the update will be changed to 2 times, 7 AM and 5 PM. If the update is not completed at 7 PM, it will be updated at 5 PM, so there will be no update at 12 o'clock. The update will be at the 6th update, and any extra updates will be added. Notice hereby. The title of the book will be changed tomorrow. Husband, close the door quickly. It's gone today, not even at 12 o'clock, and will be updated on time at 7 o'clock tomorrow. If your Majesty doesn't stay up late, the word count will not be much in the update at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Your Majesty will go to bed on time at 1 o'clock. It seems like staying up late. Hey. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 475. Chapter 475. Mr. Tang even cried. 1. Qian Yuman had breakfast and then walked into Wang Tianyu's room in a swaggering manner. Wang Tianyu had already woken up, staring at a huge oil painting directly opposite the bed. Qian Yuman looked over and saw that he was looking at the oil painting on the wall calmly. His face was not as green as yesterday, but only a little pale. His eyes were open and moving, and his chest was heaving. He is really alive and seems to be doing well. Qian Yuman walked up to him, and cleared her throat deliberately. God bless. Wang Tianyu's eyes didn't stay on her for a second. He was still looking at the oil painting on the wall. I'm here to apologize to you. I apologize to you in advance for my behavior yesterday. I'm sorry, I was too harsh. I don't accept it. Wang Tianyu ruthlessly refused to accept it. Qian Yuman puffed out her cheeks and tried hard to suppress her anger. Although it's my fault that I almost killed you, you can't blame me entirely. You didn't want to take me away or treat me badly. Would I use electric shocks on you? Don't make it seem like I owe you. In the end, you asked for it? Oh, you still think it's reasonable to almost kill me? What else? Qian Yuman puffed out her chest. Even if I accidentally killed you, it was self-defense and it happened accidentally. I have already apologized to you and now it is your turn to apologize. I don't apologize. Wang Tianyu refused again. You. Qian Yuman was very angry at his mean expression. My main purpose today is not to apologize to you, but to negotiate with you. I do not want. Tisk. Qian Yuman's mouth began to twitch, and anger kept burning in her chest. It wasn't because he was like this because of her. She didn't even bother to talk to him nicely. Making her owe him money seems to be gained. If you don't want to, just listen to me. It's not because of Mr. Tang that I don't bother to apologize or reconcile with you. I don't know what happened to you 11 years ago. I only see that Mr. Tang cares about you. They are good brothers who have lived together for 11 years. Even if they are not biological, the feelings from back then are still there. Wang Tianyu said indifferently. His eyes were very complicated. Gone long ago, gone long ago. You may be dead, but not Mr. Tang. You almost died this time, and he was the most nervous. Do you know how much he cherished your brother? When you had no heartbeat, Mr. Tang even cried. I cried very sadly and regretfully. He cared so much about your brother that he even yelled at me, but you always wanted to take revenge. You like to hurt the people who care about you so much. Qian Yuman told half-truths and half-false lies, deliberately deepening Tangyu's care for him, so that Wang Tianyu could soften his heart and let go of the past. The result was also successful. Wang Tianyu's eyes were twinkling with tears, showing a sad expression. He held his hands tightly and tried hard to suppress the sadness in his heart. What you did to me these 2 times, if you tell Mr. Tang anything, what will he do to you? Do you know? After all, I am also his most beloved wife. No man can accept others cuckolding him. Many people testified to what you did to me last time. If I want to report you, won't he believe it? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 476. Chapter 476. Mr. Tang even cried too. Then go ahead and say it. Do you think I care? Wang Tianyu roared angrily. You care, no matter how you change, you will still be the Wang Tianyu who liked to call him brother when you were a child, and often asked him to wipe your and help you with your homework. She still vividly remembers the scenes from her childhood. She didn't understand how much hatred it was that made brothers who were so good friends in childhood turn into the current situation. The relationship between the two brothers is definitely no worse than that between her and her sister. Meeting again, Wang Tianyu's hatred for Tangyuj reached the point of madness. It's better for the two of us to make a concession. I can say that the past few things have never happened. If you choose to get along well with Mr. Tang and try to accept each other, the two of us can continue to be friends. Jian Yuman said that the most important thing about coming here today is state the purpose. She thought about it a lot. So what if she took revenge on Wang Tianyu? So what if I told Mr. Tang that I was almost raped by him? The result is to intensify the conflict between their brothers and become a fire and water situation. They are all people with capable backgrounds. When they fight, the people around them will suffer in the end. As for her, unless Wang Tianyu gives up the idea of revenge or passes away, she will probably be tortured by him in every way in her life. Although I escaped these 2 times, can I still escape in the future? Will she have to hide for the rest of her life? One more permanent enemy is worse than one more friend. She doesn't want to forgive him either, but is there a better solution than forgiveness? The 4 of us haven't gone to the mountainside to play cards for more than 10 years. If we have a chance, let's go together, okay? Jian Yuman continued to play the emotional card, telling him about the most innocent time in her childhood, which moved him. Are you an idiot, woman? I almost raped you several times. Wang Tianyu roared at her. His mind was in a mess, and he didn't want her to affect his thoughts. Then let me ask you, if you leave today and you are healed, will you continue to deal with me? Did he think she wanted to do this? Is it comfortable to hold a hatred in your chest that cannot be vented? Wang Tianyu was silent, and he answered directly with silence. Jian Yuman could escape the 1st grade of junior high school, but not the 15th grade. Jian Yuman took a deep breath countless times before blowing away a little of the depression in her heart. It doesn't matter if you can't answer me now. Until you recover from your injuries this time, you will stay in the castle and try to get along with brother Wang. This is a chance for you. Wang Tianyu said nothing and looked awkwardly at the window. If you don't say anything, I will treat you as if you agreed. If you don't agree, I will kill you directly when you are unable to resist, so as to avoid future troubles. Jian Yuman threatened with a sly smile. Wang Tianyu snorted again. I'll take it as your promise, and you're not allowed to break your promise, you know. Jian Yuman still took it as her acquiescence, immediately walked out of the room with a smile, and closed the door kindly. Wang Tianyu in the room moved his eyes towards Jian Yuman and sneered. Stupid woman, why are there such stupid women in the world? The stupid woman in Wang Tianyu's words immediately showed an excited smile the moment the door closed. She looked at the closed door with cunning eyes and a treacherous and weird smile on her face. Although I can't tell Mr. Tang what happened before, and I say that I don't care about past grudges, it doesn't mean that I can't torture you in other ways. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 477. Chapter 477. Mr. Tang, I like you so much. Although I can't tell Mr. Tang what happened before, and I say I don't care about past grudges, it doesn't mean that I can't torture you in other ways. Jian Yuman made a face at the door, turned around happily, and ran away. It made Wang Tianyu feel troubled. She was very kind-hearted and prepared a treatment for Wang Tianyu, which was unique to this family. She hired a medical staff who specialized in medical treatment for Wang Tianyu, and this medical staff was the guest who came to the castle early this morning, Tangyu's cousin Fang Qingguo. Qian Yuman specially ran to tell Fang Qingguo that the patient in the room was Mr. Tang's pet peeve, and if he was taken care of, Tangyuj would definitely be very happy, so Fang Qingguo could please take care of him more, and the patient was a little disobedient. He doesn't obey when he eats or drinks, so she needs to personally serve him and feed him. Qian Yuman deliberately made a bunch of blood-tonifying decoctions. These decoctions are extremely effective, but the smell is unpleasant, and the taste is first-rate when eaten. It will definitely make you want to vomit after one bite, and make you want to vomit after the second bite. Vomit the third mouthful of the blood-tonifying decoction. As soon as Fang Qingguo heard that the person in the room was Mr. Tang's pet peeve, as a medical student, she responded immediately and actively. She will try her best to spare time to take care of the patient in the future and restore him to health as quickly as possible. Early in the morning, Qian Yuman heard angry roars coming from Wang Tianyu's room frequently. However, Wang Tianyu's body was still too weak at this moment. If he walked around the gate of hell, he would not be able to fight against Fang Qingguo. He is just like a little sheep now, unable to resist no matter how he is bullied. Fang Qingguo is also a hero among women. He is very strong and looks like a king of a country and a city. Qian Yuman made breakfast, calculated the time, and went to Tangyu's restroom. He gently opened the door and saw Tangyuj still sleeping on the bed. He was sleeping at the moment, his expression was still tense and he had not relaxed. She put the food in her hands on the table, picked up her long black hair, and swept it at the tip of his nose. Tangyuj woke up leisurely in bed and saw Qian Yuman's bright smile, with a faint smile on his face. "Wife. Mr. Tang, I like you so much." Qian Yuman smiled brightly and said her love confession. Tangyuj was a little confused for a moment when he heard his beloved wife's confession as soon as he woke up. "What's wrong with you? Do you have a high fever?" Tangyuj put his hand on her forehead. Qian Yuman shook his head and threw away his hand, speaking sincerely. "I don't have a fever, I'm confessing to you. I decided to say I like you so much to you every day from now on. When I fall in love with you in the future, it will become I love you." Qian Yuman said seriously, a pair of hands already unconsciously holding his waist. "I like you too," Tangyuj responded with a smile in his eyes, as if he was seeing a beloved toy or pet. Qian Yuman shook his head and said dissatisfied. "If you say I love you, you will really fall in love with me as you say it. Also, don't treat me as your sister anymore. No one would sleep with your sister and get her pregnant. This is ethics." Chaos. Does he also have these taboo hobbies in his mind? "Okay, I will tell you I love you every day from now on." Tangyuj smiled and nodded in response. Qian Yuman had already put on her slippers and went to bed without knowing it. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 478. Chapter 478 Meeting Uncle Qian's Family Again 1. Qian Yuman had unknowingly taken off her shoes and got on the bed, moving her body closer to him. "Mr. Tang, please don't be angry with me about what happened yesterday. I know I was wrong. I almost hurt Tianyu yesterday. It's all my fault for not knowing the seriousness. Please forgive me, please." Qian Yuman begged for mercy again. Yesterday, he said coldly and seriously. She didn't like the look at all. "I'm not angry with you, I'm angry with myself. I believe you have a ghost." She obviously cared more about him than me, and she didn't even ask her from beginning to end why she wanted to hurt Wang Tianyu. She was always worried about Wang Tianyu. Feeling the little woman's emotions in his arms, Tangyuj sighed helplessly. "Okay. I admit I'm angry. Look. She knew it. I'm too nervous, God bless me. I know, I understand how you were feeling at that time. Think about it for a moment. If it were you, if your sister's life or death was uncertain, she might be so angry that she wanted to kill someone, or she was so angry that she lost her mind. Although Mr. Tang is very smart and rational, he is a flesh and blood person after all. It is understandable that he loses basic thinking ability about the things he cares about. Fortunately, Wang Tianyu was still alive in the end, and everything was rectified. What happened to you at that time that required you to use an anti-wolf electric shock baton? Tang stroked Qian Yuman's hair repeatedly. Qian Yuman pursed her lips and weighed her words over and over in her mind. I told you not to be angry. He was angry with you, so he wanted to kidnap me and the child in my belly so that he could grasp your weakness and make you sad. Tang sighed deeply, obviously not surprised by Qian Yuman's answer. Mr. Tang, although we had a big quarrel, I just negotiated with him and he said he is willing to give you a chance and try to get along well. Qian Yuman happily conveyed the good news. After Tang heard this, he looked at her in slight surprise. Real? Qian Yuman smiled and nodded vigorously. Really, he will stay with us until he recovers from his injuries. You don't have to worry about him disappearing suddenly. Thank you. Tang thanked her sincerely and was very happy with the news. How can the couple say thank you? Forgive me for my bad tone last night. I am not angry. Real? Really, I secretly added in my mind. I was actually quite angry. I even had a nightmare last night. But I still refuse to admit it. I still want to sleep, please stay with me for a while. Tang closed his eyes again. When he learned that Wang Tianyu would stay for a while, the expression on his face became much softer, unlike when he was sleeping with a straight face just now. Face. Let's go to bed after breakfast. I'm not hungry yet. But. Be good, sleep with me, I have to attend a charity auction tonight. He had only slept for 3 hours and was still very tired. Okay. I'll sleep with you for a while. Qian Yuman fell asleep almost as soon as she finished speaking. She didn't sleep well last night either. There was something hanging in her mind that made it difficult for her to sleep well. After finally solving the problem, fatigue also followed, and Tang fell asleep before falling asleep. This time, the couple slept through lunch and slept until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They were only woken up by Secretary Zhang urging them to wake up. We have to attend a charity auction at 6 o'clock in the evening. There will be many celebrities attending, so we can't be late. Don't forget to collect the prizes. Then who? Join the group to claim the prize. First place, Yu Hui. Second place, King Guofei Yang. Third place, that person. Fourth place, Yu Tian. Fifth place, Ran Xin. Sixth place, Qian Ruo Xia Mo. Number 7, Wandering the Universe. 8th place, Kanda Shun. 9th place, Original Intention. The above-mentioned winning concubines join the group to receive the prizes, number 5960928839. Join the group, write and read articles, subscribe with a nickname, and provide the administrator with information to verify your identity. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 479. Chapter 479 Meeting Uncle Qian's family again too. Qian Yuman knew beforehand that she would attend the auction because after Mr. Tang came to Berlin, there were countless invitations. The headquarters of the Emigrant Group is in Berlin. European businessmen are well informed and know that Mr. Tang has come to Berlin, and they all want to have a good relationship with him. Originally, so many people would not know about it immediately, but Murangye came, and it happened to be close to the 7th anniversary of the founding of the group. This time, a lot of people knew their whereabouts. Since yesterday, there were invitations everywhere, and many Tianyumen saw it. Tangyu's home phone frequency has also reached a new height. Many invitations have been turned down, but some are really hard to turn down. The charity auction that I was going to participate in today is Bob Torenby, who has given Mr. Tang's career in many careers. In the early days of Mr. Tang's entrepreneurial, he had many help, especially when he moved the head office to Berlin. This is a charity auction he organized for the disabled. Tangyuj naturally would not refuse and took Tianyumen with him. Attending this banquet, Tianyumen was severely designed by the costume designer. She was dressed up to be more gentle. She had a very good temperament and wore elegant clothes. The white dress becomes elegant, refined, and lovable. Tianyumen saw herself in the mirror and lamented that she seemed like a different person. At 6 o'clock, Tangyuj and Tianyumen attended the charity auction on time. When they came, many guests had already arrived. They arrived on time, but it was considered too late. Tangyuj may not be well known in other places, and many people don't know who he is, but those with a slightly higher status in Berlin know his identity and have met him. Mr. Tang from the Emigrant Group has a handsome appearance and strong work ability. He is a typical tall, rich and handsome man, and he is top-level rich. He is the best husband in the eyes of the richest lady in Berlin. I heard that Mr. Tang will attend the charity auction today. How many rich ladies will attend to see if they can capture Mr. Tang's heart and become a wealthy wife? In a corner of the charity auction, Qianqinggan held the hand of his carefully dressed daughter and warned her repeatedly. "Daughter, Dad knew that many social elites would show up today, so he took you all the way to Berlin. He also spent a lot of money to have the opportunity to bring you to the charity auction. You must seize this opportunity. If you have the opportunity, try your best to catch Kaiser. It depends on you whether Dad will have meat to eat or grass to eat." The carefully dressed Tianyumen clenched her fists and shouted softly, with a confident smile on her face. "Dad, don't worry. I will definitely seize the opportunity this time, marry into a wealthy family, grow my face for you, and avenge you. I was bullied so miserably by Tianyumen last time. When I become rich and powerful, must come back with revenge. That's right, I must come back with revenge." Qianqinggan thought of the humiliation he suffered last time and felt unwilling to do so, which aroused his desire to become a master. "Since I don't have the ability in this area, I can only rely on my beautiful daughter. I hope my daughter can live up to his reputation and put her on his lap to make him look good. And I heard that a big shot is going to appear today. As long as my daughter tries her best and climbs into his bed, I don't know how many dignitaries will come to have a relationship with him in the future. Whether she can turn over or not depends on her daughter." End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 480. Chapter 480 Attracting Bees and Butterflies. Mr. Tang 1. Tianyumen nodded heavily, knowing that the future of her family depended on her, and she would definitely work hard. Tianyumen and Tangyuj did not know that people she knew would appear at the charity auction. After all, there is still a long distance between San Francisco and Berlin. Her previous social circles were all in San Francisco, so she didn't expect to meet anyone she knew. Tangyuj attended with Tianyumen, which immediately attracted the attention of countless people. It is really that the appearance of this man and woman is so outstanding, they are as dazzling as stars, or even more dazzling. They are like a golden boy and a beautiful girl, a perfect match. They are immediately noticed, not only because of their appearance, but also because of their temperament. At this moment, Tangyuj no longer acted carelessly in front of his family. He was like a high and mighty king, exuding the confidence and domineering attitude of a superior. Even if his signature evil smile is still hanging on the corner of his mouth, his body will reveal a cold temperament that seems to be absent, which makes people feel intimidated and dare not easily talk to him. His appearance was still so popular, and he quickly caught the eyes of the famous ladies present. There are some wealthy ladies who don't know his identity and have even given up the idea of hooking up with Mr. Tang of the Emigrant Group and have changed their minds to him. As soon as Tang Yuj came in, many eyes were staring at him, but no one came forward to talk to him. Some wealthy ladies who were ready to make a move went up to speak first. The hot beauty in front of me stepped forward and straightened her proud bust. "Hello, I'm Selena. What's your name, handsome guy?" Qian Yuman's eyes narrowed slightly. This woman is so bold. She knew that Mr. Tang had her as his female companion, but she actually stepped forward to talk to her and treated her like nothing. This feeling was very bad. She had long expected that she would be jealous many times when attending the charity auction. Without comment, Qian Yuman hugged Tang Yuj possessively, snorted proudly at the hot beauty, and walked around her with Tang Yuj in her arms. Tang Yuj shrugged helplessly and left. He had a strict upbringing. "Huh, you didn't even tell me your name, you're stingy," the hot beauty snorted. "What's so great about it?" Just as a butterfly left, Qian Yuman still felt a little better when another butterfly flew over. Yuj's soft voice came, and a blonde and white-skinned butterfly flew over, approached Tang Yuj, and greeted Tang Yuj with a smile. "Yuj, you are here, I miss you so much." "Have you missed me?" Then she hugged Tang Yuj and hugged her face to face. Qian Yuman's eyes nearly popped out. Although she knew this was Western etiquette, she still felt very uncomfortable. Qian Yuman complained about the barrage. "As expected, you should attend less Western gatherings, otherwise if a butterfly sticks on your face once, his face will be posted by thousands of people, which is so annoying." The blonde and white-skinned foreign girl ignored Qian Yuman at all, pretending not to see her and talking to Tang Yuj with a smile. Tang Yuj felt the jealousy on the face of the woman next to him, and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "Angela, long time no see," Tang Yuj greeted with a smile. "Yes, Yuj, we haven't seen each other for half a year." Angela smiled brightly, and her body was very close to Tang Yuj. Qian Yuman's eyes almost popped out when she saw it. Qian Yuman complained about the barrage. "Why are they so close? Why not stick them together directly?" End of this chapter.